Hello everyone, welcome to Timur Talks. This is a political news bloggy kind of thing. Uh, Second episode. The first it might be the first one, depending on how you look at it. But over here, talking about politics news, human rights, and the whole shebang. Alright, so if you haven't seen my last video, it kind of explains a bit more about who I am. But I'll go again. My name Timur, as the show's name, Timur Talks, and I I'm in university. Uh, this is I'll be entering second year in fall and picking my courses tonight. Uh, Life of being a university student, but here we go. The reason why I'm doing this is because I just love talking about politics and I just want to get it out of me. And this is the fun way to do it. May not have said that before, but here we go. So, the first news story, Germany proposes delaying the EU deal with Turkey because of the protests. It's a big deal because Turkey, like most people who I know who are Turks, want to join the EU. A lot of benefits, better trade pacts. You can use the passport to travel over Europe. This is kind of what I'm in going for because I'm Turkish. I'm to be able to travel easily. As if I was a British citizen or something, or French, any of the nationalities that are within the Eurozone. But all that aside, it's showing how that political and strife and it's very a big influence on what other countries think politically of each other. And you could make Germany start thinking Turkey's having some problems. If people are not happy, maybe we should postpone these things and do them later. So while it's hard to say that um, Germany shouldn't be doing this because it's like slowing down, Turkey's getting into it. It makes sense because you don't want to be dealing with countries that are having problems with their people. Like they should have that sorted out before going in. And in terms of the protests in Turkey, I completely agree. I've seen so many things. You can go on Google and YouTube and find all the horrible things that have been happening. Uh, it's I, I I stand with the people. I'll leave it at that. I do not stand with the government. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so that concludes the Germany. Let's move on to the human rights segment. This is a segment that will pretty much happen every time we do the video. This time it's a little less, not as serious as last time, but still, it's human rights, it's important. Uh, in Russia, they bring a lot of crackdowns on human rights groups, and there's one group in particular that's been getting a lot of press recently, and it's called the For Human Rights. Now, the reason why they're getting big press is because apparently they had a location and office in the city that the city owned, the city leased it to them, and as a result, the city is like saying, we're not going to do this anymore, we're just going to give it to another group. Now, the human rights group is saying that they should be allowed to release it. Makes sense. They've been there since 1997, I believe. Yeah, 1997. So that it's like, why would you want them to move? They've been there for a while. They've obviously paid for a long time. So what's wrong? So then you get into deeper questions of Russia's problems with political activists and human rights and etc. Like recently, they passed a bill unanimously to deny that being gay was real. I don't know why they did it. It didn't make sense to me at all. It's, to me, it's wrong. Again, human rights wrong. So I guess it's important to realize that if you have the right supporting president, because they're not really respected everywhere. And yeah, Yeah, I'm gonna be careful if I travel anywhere because I'm saying all these political news and people may not like me for it anymore. And I say people, I mean government. But anyway, moving on to the next segment, Israel. In Israel, we all, if you haven't heard, the Gaza Strip, and then there's Israel, and then there's the West Bank. We're gonna focus on Israel and the Gaza Strip. There's this political group called Hamas, and they like to fire rockets into Israel. Israel has pretty good defense most of the time. It's pretty safe, but from time to time people do get hurt, and obviously you never want people to get hurt, which and political leaders get involved because Hamas is a political group. They're politically elected, and they have they're considered terrorists by Israel. I've seen some videos online. They've talked about explaining them. The segregation issues I'm not completely online with. The fact that they're able to democratically hold an election in a closed off zone. I'm cool with that. But like the segregation thing, I'm not for it at all. I mean it's because I don't come from a Muslim background. I'm not saying any of it's right. I'm just saying I don't agree with it. But the reason why we're talking about Israel and Gaza, after this is basically Gaza and Hamas and Israel, they don't get along. So they fire rockets at each other, and recently they just fired Israel launched aircraft into Gaza Strip, presumably to launch rockets against. Okay, so here it says rockets were fired at Israel from the territory, which happens on a routine basis. It shouldn't happen, but it did. And that was Monday, so yesterday, today. But the time zones are different because I live in Ottawa, so different time. And they say the military struck uh, two weapons storage facilities and a rocket launch site. They say there's no injuries reported, but how are you going to report them? It's kind of like it's a closed off area. It's like almost it's like North Korea, but there's internet and stuff and more freedom in terms of like opening. I'm not saying the government's like that at all. Like no regard to human rights. Yeah. But back to here, going on. It's this ongoing problem. You can't have people firing rockets at each other all the time, and if you do that, it's the intent of the rocket to hurt people, to destroy. Not the best thing in the world. So I hope that the Palestinian Council in the end we can get like back to table talks again. Realistically, is that ever gonna happen? I love it. I don't think it will. Again, same thing with the last video. I don't think sedition and conflict can be resolved at a table. It's gone too far for that. Too many people have died. But yeah, rockets are not good. Let's move on to the next story. The next story. A big guy in the news past few weeks, Edward Snowden, American trader. He leaked a lot of classified information on a program called Prism, which basically said that as long as everything's accurate, that the American NSA was spying on their own citizens, and they also hacked into some Chinese facilities, spied on the Chinese, but we all knew they were doing it, right? At least I think they. I think I knew that they were doing it. It just wasn't out there. So it's kind of like any spy program. No, everyone knows it's happening, but no one admits it because it would look bad. So from that, yeah. Uh, so yeah, the Americans are not happy with Snowden, and so the big news is that he has a fear. He just doesn't want to lose his laptop. I mean, who wouldn't want to lose their laptop? Well, maybe him more different for different reasons. But like me, I love my laptop. I do all my stuff on it. I'm making videos on it right now. So yeah, so yeah, he doesn't want to go to jail because he'll probably lose his laptop. other reasons too, but that's what's quoted here in the Globe Limited. No, never mind. That's an advertisement. Globe Mail. And I don't know. I agree with them. If I were leaking stuff and then I could go to jail, I wouldn't want to lose my laptop. Presumably, I'd probably use my laptop for a lot of things if I was in that situation. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to lose my laptop. And moving on to the final story. With the heat. Yeah. So, another segment. I try to do local news. I'm gonna work on this. I'm not exactly the best at this right now, but it'll improve. And what's gonna go here is today is a hot day in Ottawa, but the heat wave is continuing on to tomorrow as well. And lightning and thunderstorms. I think it might continue into a bit of a week. So I'm advising people to be careful, be reasonable, don't do a 10-kilometer run out in the middle of the day. Probably not the best idea. But generally, yeah, enjoy the heat. Remember your middle. Yes. And yeah, this concludes the second episode of Timur Talks. If you stayed with me this long, thank you. Uh, if another same question as last time in my demo video, I'm gonna change the question to the next video because I don't want to feel like I'm asking the same question over and over again. Or maybe I'll keep asking the question and anyway, I'll work it out. But the question is that what do you guys want to hear me talk about? Do you want me to do more local stuff? I'll probably keep doing international stuff because I just love talking about that stuff and it's 11 minutes or it's almost 12 minutes now. So I'm talking very long now. And also, how do you like this format? Do you like it when I talk for 12 minutes? Or do you want me to break it up into segments? And we'll go from there. Have a good day, everyone, and see people and you guys on the web tomorrow. If yeah, I'll make a video tomorrow. Hey, bye.